several items tonight, so just when you go to the consent agenda, I'll mention that there I can't vote on it. Vincent, it's okay to say no. And then I have to do 4 or 5, just make it all. Okay. So I just need to.
All right, very good.
I-
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Watertown City Council adjourned meeting of Monday, November 6, 2017. We'll start with a prayer by Carissa Zumwalt of the Salvation Army.
Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this day, for your blessings so far. God, I pray for your wisdom and guidance in the decisions that are being made today. May you just be ever present in this meeting tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Carissa. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Okay. Albertson?
Here.
Bueller is absent. Danforth?
Here.
Lallam?
Here.
Manti?
Here.
Roby?
Here.
Solom?
Here.
Thorson?
Here.
Billhauer?
Here.
Y?
Present.
Thank you.
The first item on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda, and I have a change to make to item G, which is authorization to advertise for bids for petroleum products and street maintenance materials, project number 1713, not 1813. So we'll make that change.
Mayor, I will recuse myself from item 1F. Vince, still okay if I vote in the consent agenda with that recusal?
Yes.
And then I'll also items 4, 5, and 6. Thank you.
Are there any other proposed modifications to the consent agenda? See none, I'd like a motion to approve the consent agenda with the changes.
So moved.
Have a motion by Manti and second by Solom. Any discussion?
I've got one question. I know I've asked this before, so beg my forgetfulness here. 1F, would be to you, Kristen. These are renewals for which there were no issues or violations this past year. Is that correct?
That is correct. This is the whole renewal process. Yep.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. All right. Second item is approval of the agenda. Are there any proposed changes? Seeing none.
So moved.
Moved by Vilhauer.
Second.
Second by Lallam. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item number 3, presentation from William Neal and Company, PC, of auditor communications from the 2016 audit. I believe Troy Heeb is here. And between Troy and Kristen, we'll get this done.
I believe Kristen has given. I believe Kristen has given you a copy of our letter that that is addressed to both you and the utility board. There's under the significant audit findings, I just want to mention that under that first paragraph that the utility board has elected to use the modified approach for their water storage tanks, which means is under the modified approach is they're not going to depreciate these assets. They're going to actually expense the maintenance and preservation of these assets as they are incurred, which is a change in accounting policy. So I just want to mention that, even though it's not applicable to you specifically, the city, but and then also under the corrected and uncorrected misstatements, accounting standards require us to accumulate all known and likely misstatements that we identify during the audit, other than those that we consider trivial, and communicate them to you. the audit difference evaluation forms that are attached to your letter are the items that I am talking about. These are uncorrected misstatements that we consider to be immaterial, and therefore no adjustment is made. I wasn't going to go through them unless someone has a question on them.
Any questions?
Just a comment. No offense, Troy, but
No,
I
that's
know
all right.
I know from personal and professional experience, it's like watching paint dry as far as how exciting this is. But I do want to point out. I mean, you're essentially giving the city and the utilities a clean audit
Yeah.
opinion. Is that correct?
Yes, I was going to get to that, but yeah,
Oh,
we're
okay.
going to do you received unmodified opinion, which is a clean opinion on the financial statements.
And there were very few, if any, adjustments that needed or that were proposed.
Under the corrected and uncorrected misstatements there, we did note some material misstatements that were corrected, and they are identified in those 3 paragraphs. If you go down to uncorrected, there's 3 of the management ones there. A few things that we did note that were material that we did correct. Does anybody have any questions on those or anything? I don't think we had any of those in the past, but last year anyways that I can remember. But and then I guess the last thing I would like to say is would be the other audit findings and issues, which would be on the second page there, right above other matters. I just wanted to note that there were no audit findings or issues that were included in the schedule of audit findings, and also you received like I said, unmodified opinion, a clean opinion. I'd just like to thank the finance office and the utility department for all their help during the audit, and that they do a great job. Any other questions?
Again, just to make a comment, we need to recognize the finance office because, again, from experience, I know what is entailed in the work that you do on this, Troy. And again, I want to commend Kristen and Shelley before you that this should not be taken too lightly. I mean, the fact that we do have a good system of internal control, good monitoring of our finances through the finance office, I think that is worth bearing or worth mentioning. That we can take a lot of pride in what is brought to us with our finance office.
Yes. Any other questions or comments or anything? Or
No, thank you.
yep, thank you.
There's no action required on this, right, Kristen? Yep. Okay. Item number 4 is application for a transfer of ownership of a retail on-off sale malt beverage license and video lottery license from Spies Inc., doing business as Cowboy Country Stores number 3 at 1400 4th Street Northeast, to Spies Inc., doing business as Cowboy Country Stores number 1 at 309 10th Street Northwest. And I'll go ahead and open the public hearing.
Okay. And I did have to make one note. When this came before us, it was found that the legal description was not correct on the application. So I'm going to read what the correct legal description is. It is lots 22 through 28, Block 16, Davis Edition, vacated 10th Street West right-of-way, lying between the south half of Block 15 and the south half of Block 16, Davis Edition. Lot 14, Block 15, Davis Edition, less that part of Lot 14, lying north and east of Highway 20, right-of-way, and lots 15 through 19, Block 15 of the Davis Edition. So, yeah. Yeah. So, that is the correct legal.
Okay.
There wasn't enough room on the form for it.
Yeah, that's right. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak about this? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and ask for council action, which incorporates the change in the legal description, which Kristen just gave in the public hearing. Moved by Albertson, second by Mantee. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item number 5, application for a transfer of ownership of a retail on-off sale liquor license from Lunkers LLC, doing business as Lunkers, inactive, at 100 North Lake Drive, to R&R Butcher LLC, inactive, at 1462 South Lake Drive. I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak about this? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and ask for council action.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Moved by Lallam, second by Danforth. Any further discussion?
I do have a question. By law, isn't there the 1 year time frame that if it isn't is it 1 year, 2 years, that if it's not activated, then it reverts back to the city? Is that correct? Yes. So does that time frame continue through ownership, or does it start over? It does. Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item number 6, renewal of a retail on-off sale liquor license to R&R Butcher LLC, inactive, at 1462 South Lake Drive. Is there a motion and second for approval? Moved by Mantee.
Second.
Second by Lallam. Any discussion? See none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item number 7, authorization for the mayor to sign a purchase agreement with Douglas Cook, Andrea Hill, and Jamie Jansen for 65 acres of land adjacent to the landfill, and authorization for the finance office to distribute funds of $526,500. Mike?
Thank you. In 2016, the city signed an option to buy an 80-acre parcel of land that is contiguous with the northeast corner of the Watertown landfill. Subsequently, the city did purchase 15 of the 80 acres, so the agreement before you tonight is for the purchase of the remaining 65 acres. Under this purchase agreement, we are paying the appraised value of $8,100 per acre for the 65 acres for a total of $526,500, and these funds will be paid out of the Solid Waste Fund cash reserves.
Thank you. Could I have a motion and second for authorization for the signatures?
So move. Second.
Moved by Albertson and second by Lallam. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Thanks, Mike. Item number 8, authorization for the mayor to sign the proposal acceptance form for asphalt testing at the airport. Todd,
Hello.
want to tell us about this?
Yes. So this is for the taxi lane project that we have currently in progress. Aaron Swan came in at $4,264. That's actually under what we budgeted for this line item through the federal grant. So my request is to award it to Aaron Swan.
Great. Is there a motion and second for that? Moved by Danforth, second by Y.
Oh.
Any discussion? Sounds like a good deal. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. Item number 9, approval of employee group health insurance plan renewal for 2018. I think Kristen's going to tell us about this.
Okay. Attached to the agenda, you'll see the premium rates for 2018 compared to 2017. The insurance premiums increased from last year by 7.88%. I do want to note that 3.4% of that was for the health insurer fee, which was actually suspended for 2017 and it has now returned in 2018. The premium increase is within the budget for 2018, and I would recommend that we renew the health insurance plan with Wellmark for 2018 with the premiums as proposed.
Thank you. Have a motion and second for approval.
So moved.
Moved by Vilhauer and second by Lallam. Discussion?
Kristen, was there any advantage to looking into other, this is a time now that people look into other potentials. I know it's a pain to change, but is there any value to that, or is it just move forward with the...
I think for this year, kind of with everything too that was changing in the finance office, we did kind of stick with Wellmark. They did give us, this was a pretty good proposal. Our insurance committee met, and we did look at a couple different plan options, and this was what they, as a committee, chose to stay with. So I think maybe next year we'll have more time to maybe dive into looking at different options.
And Chris, next year we'll be going through union negotiations as well.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So that'd be a logical time then to take a closer look at it.
Yep.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item number 10, renewal of flexible benefits plan and administrative agreement with Wellmark. Kristen.
Okay. This is kind of part of the whole health insurance. This would be our renewal that we do for Flex Benefits. The city is the third-party administrator for that. You'll see attached to the agenda. The only things that I want to note changed was the $400 annual administrative fee. That is gone this year. That'll be at zero. The $5.25 a participant stayed the same. And the only other change that we had is for the medical reimbursement account maximum, we did increase that to $2,650 a year compared to $2,550 for 2017. So my recommendation is that we sign the agreement for the Flex Benefit Plan as proposed.
Okay, do I have a motion and second? Moved by Roby, second by Mantee. Any discussion? See none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item number 11, authorization for the mayor to sign a letter of agreement with Helms & Associates for the design, development, and contract documents for the airport terminal parking lot expansion. Todd.
Yes, so we asked to go out to bids for the parking lot, and we'll get to that in a few items here. But this is just the agreement with Helms for the design. So that's what this pertains to. Any questions?
Todd, did we not get the cart a little bit before the horse here? I mean, shouldn't have this part of it been approved sometime back? Because now we're going to be looking at the bids here in just a couple minutes.
So we asked to go out for bids. You said we could go out for bids. The money's actually budgeted for next year. So this would have had to come sooner or later anyway. We just knew we could get some good prices is what we heard on concrete. So that's why we went out for bids this year. And that's why this is coming into effect tonight.
Okay, I don't think I got a motion yet. I have a motion and second for approval? Moved by Albertson and second by Y. Any further discussion? See none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item number 12, authorization for airport manager to sign an agreement with American Barnstormers Tour, July 12th through 14, 2018. Todd.
Yeah, so this is an exciting event. We got actually a lot of interest in the American Barnstormers. We had them in 2012, and it was 2010, and they kind of parted ways, but they're back together. They're flying the Travel Air biplanes. They're bringing 10 to Watertown, 4 of which they're going to be flying daily and giving rides in, and doing some stunt stuff on them. There's only about 40 of these in the world that actually fly still, and they're having 10 in Watertown at one time. So it's kind of a really big deal. So this is just the agreement between us and the American Barnstormers Tour.
Question, Todd, this is a unique event.
It is.
And those unique things are what we have to bring to town to get people to come here. How did we get this event?
I work day and night trying to get Clay Adams' number. That's all I had to go off of from the last Barnstormers tour was Clay Adams. And I found him. He's actually in Minneapolis.
All right. Well done.
Thank
This
you.
is the kind of thing we need.
Whoever wrote that letter botched your name a little bit.
They did. I asked them to update it today. So it will be updated on the new
Okay.
copy. And also the payment, it says $4,000 appearance fee, $2,000. The fee is due by January 1, 2018. I had them change that to February 10 due to our billing cycle. And they were
Oh,
fine with
good
that.
idea.
So
Okay.
the new version shows the February 10 and the name change.
Great.
Todd, Todd, what does this show do to our flight service in and out? Does it
Nothing.
nothing?
Nope.
They come in and out and
Correct. We'll have to have designated areas that all get approved through the FAA as far as the seating and where people can come out, picnic, look around at the Vintique car show, and a bunch of the other attractions that we're going to have at the airport at the same time as this is going on.
Is this an admission event for people to get into?
No.
It's a free event.
Free. If they want to fly on the aircraft, they have prices for different aircraft that you can fly on.
Are they anywhere close around here? Do they come do Sioux Falls, Aberdeen, Huron shows?
Negative, no. They haven't done a show since 2010 when they did their last tour. This is their last hoorah of these bi-wing aircraft. And they're doing, I believe, 4 locations this time. Don't quote me, I think it's 4. 4 locations. They're going to end up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, to do the final blowout last show. So it's a really neat event.
Good job.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for getting this here. This will be fun. We have a motion and second for approval.
So moved.
Moved by Lallam, second by Mantee. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 13, consideration of bids received for the airport terminal parking lot improvements project. Todd.
Okay. Helms and Associates was supposed to be here. I knew they were running late tonight to kind of run through this with you, but I'll take a shot at it. So for concrete, we actually got really strong numbers. $3.15 is what I thought, but $3.64 for the concrete, which is outstanding per square foot from Crestone. That's usually in that $5 to $6 range. So just to give you a little tidbit there, we had 2 concrete bids and 1 asphalt bid. So under the bid laws, as I recall, Vince, maybe you can help me out with this. We had 1 asphalt bid, so we are in negotiations with Rob Bainan, the street department. We're going to pull some of these line items out as far as the traffic control. We can do this in-house. Every line item that we pull out, we can do in-house, and we can negotiate this with the contractor. Is that correct, Vince?
Negotiate this, define this.
The line items that we'll pull out, the traffic control, topsoiling, seeding and fertilizing, and the removal of the asphalt.
Yes.
Todd, this is for the existing parking lot plus the expansion to the north, is that correct?
Negative. This will be a 5-foot tie-in on the existing parking lot
okay.
with the new parking lot. And then this also includes the entrances and exit points are actually offset currently, and so they'll have to move the entrance and exits to the center of the parking lot for access, or else you'll lose the last 4 or 5 stalls. This does include stormwater plan as well for culverts and other such stuff that is way over my head.
So you're recommending approval
I'm
of
recommending approval of, and I don't know how to do this, Vince, maybe you can help me out.
Crestone Builders?
We're approving the asphalt bid, but we want to go back and negotiate those certain items with the contractor. Under the bid laws, we can negotiate those items. Does that make sense?
No. You can't. Yeah, you can change order the amount, but what you need to do is have the negotiation completed before you approve the bid.
Okay.
You know, and so on the asphalt, are you talking about going forward on the asphalt?
Correct.
Okay, so we don't have the final negotiation, right?
Correct, we do not.
Okay, then you
So
can't.
we go back and negotiate, then bring it back.
Yes.
I'm confused.
Me too.
Because I thought we talked about the concrete, but now we're talking about asphalt.
Correct. The concrete came in way over budget. With, we have $60,000 budgeted. The concrete folks told us we could do it for 80. Is what their rough numbers were for the concrete. So that's when we went out and got approval from you guys to go out for bids to see what the concrete came in at. When we added everything else up with the work that had to be done after Helms got done with the actual layout of the design, it was more than we anticipated because we have to move those driveways and such. So the concrete came in at $147,153.86. I mean, if you want to do concrete, we can definitely do concrete.
Okay, so but we are looking at Dunick based on this.
Correct.
Okay.
Because of the price that came in.
Okay,
It was
so
over.
my next question then is we have made some decisions. I know that's a sizable difference.
It is.
We have made some decisions, for example, on that road just on the east side of Walmart where we went with concrete because even though it was higher, we felt that it had a longer life to it.
Yep.
How would that relate to this project?
It's
I mean, the logic holds true, right?
Correct.
So how much would come out of each one of those bids, per se, based on work that we'd be doing? And what kind of a upcharge are we willing to pay for concrete versus asphalt?
Okay, I'll try to weigh in a little bit in the perspective end of it. Major difference between what this work and the 29th Street work discussion is that I had a budget on 29th Street that would pay for up to $700,000 worth of work. We got bids on both asphalt and concrete that came in below that budget, so then that gave us a lot of freedom on making a economic choice between concrete and asphalt. And we did do a cost analysis, which proved that the life cycle of the concrete would be a benefit to the citizens versus paying for asphalt. So we did those two things. In this case, he's already exceeding a budget, correct? So we have to be a little mindful of where the extra money is going to come from. Would be another facet to this discussion. But in general, if he had enough budget for it, I would agree that the difference between $111,000 and $147,000 would probably pay for itself easily by going to concrete.
Shane, can I comment on that too? One of the influential factors of that past decision was that intersection, 29th, is for a lot of truck traffic. To get it off 212 and take the connector, those trucks pivot a lot of weight, and when they pivot, that's really, really hard on asphalt. So concrete withstands that much better, let alone just the overall weight. How serious, or how can you compare that to this situation? Similar?
Not in exact terms, but a concrete surface is going to last longer than an asphalt surface with fewer maintenance headaches, even if it is just a parking lot. For example, we do have a couple of concrete parking lots in our downtown business district system, and they outperform the life cycles of the asphalt parking lots that are comparably used. So there is a fair comparison between the asphalt versus concrete in this discussion. My only big concern is, are you ready to make the commitment to pay for something even above what you've already had budgeted? And I guess either way, the concrete's probably overall not a bad decision. It's just a matter of can you come up with the funding. And one thing that they're right, we can directly negotiate. Usually that can be done one or two ways, if I remember correctly. We could turn down all bids and then they can negotiate. Or one other thing I've seen in the past is if you've kind of decided what items you might do in-house versus out-of-house, you could approve this and then do a deduct change order. But I always like to have that conversation ahead of time so that the contractor knows that you're pulling out certain bid items. And they may have done that. I can't say that they haven't. It sounds like they did, actually.
Well, here's, what was the budgeted number, 80?
60.
60. I think if we're going to have to go back right now anyway, I would take your best concrete bid and your asphalt bid, see what gets pulled out of there, work with both of them, and bring those two numbers back. I think that we should at least know what that difference is for our consideration. There's no question in my mind that the concrete's the right way to go product-wise.
Right.
But it's all going to come down to, like Shane said, where is it the right decision for this council to make?
Is this the kind of item that, let's be positive and say that we're going to get the 10,000, which gives us $1 million. Is this the kind of thing that could be spent on, so are we really talking about that there might be $1 million, and then should we be thinking about doing jobs like this right if we have that extra money that's supposed to be spent at the airport?
There's other ways that we were looking at that, and I'll bring it up at a later date to pay for some of that stuff. But yes, this is a federally funded project. It just scores really low.
Yeah, okay, so that's something else to, is this going to throw you off very much? Does this throw you off if we say come back in 2 weeks with this?
No, we're not going to get this project done this year. They shut the plant down for asphalt, and I mean, if you guys went concrete, they would have to put pads and such down, and a lot of the contractors are super busy right now. So,
okay.
Todd, I assume that whatever the dollars ultimately are, this is 100% out of city funds versus any federal dollars coming in, correct?
That is correct.
Shane, what kind of life expectancy asphalt versus concrete? Talking differences between the two.
Concrete, and everything varies exponentially, but probably 1.5 to 2 times concrete will last before. I mean, in other words, you replace asphalt almost twice as often, or at least do enough maintenance work that it increases the cost comparatively to the maintenance that you do on the concrete.
They say an overlay is what, 10 years, roughly?
Yeah, 7 to 10.
I guess the question I would ask, that, Todd, I'm not looking to put extra work on your guys' table, but is anybody else interested in seeing what those numbers look like once we take out the items that would be done internally and see what that difference is?
Well, as far as a legal question I have is I don't think we can do that when we have 2 bids for concrete. I believe you can only negotiate when you only have a single bid. So we would have to reject all bids and go back out for bid, is how I would understand it.
Correct.
So we
On the concrete,
Correct.
but we can negotiate on the asphalt because it was the single bid.
And we've got to either accept or reject the bids within 30,
A certain amount of time,
30
correct.
days.
Yep.
So we still have another meeting that we can bring back a revised contract. Is that what we're going to see?
Well,
if you
only
don't-
if you're looking at asphalt.
Right, if you want to look at concrete, we'd just reject the bids tonight and we'll go back out.
Would that be a big thing if we
with
did
a
that?
revised plan?
From your guys' perspective and going out, just reject it and take out the things that we know we're going to do internally here, and then I would have the whole thing taken a look at that point.
So you're recommending that we rebid?
Reject bids. If we're going to look at concrete, yes, we would reject all bids, and we would put together with Helms another scope of work with the items that we're going to remove, and go back out for bids for those items.
I have a question. I understand the logic, but anytime we reject all bids, I always have a little bit of indigestion over that, because sometimes it's not fair to those that bid because they've already played their cards. If I could, Vince, maybe if I could ask you and put you on the spot, chime in on that a little bit. I'm a little nervous about that in this one.
Chime in how? I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, they would they know what the other companies might bid, yes.
It's more than twice the budget, though, and it's going to be some pretty substantial changes.
Correct.
My point is, if we're justified in rejecting all bids, I'm okay with that, but I want that as part of the discussion, that we need to always be considerate of when we go through the bidding process. And in this case, if it's double and that's justified, then I'm okay with it. If it's not clear cut like that, then it makes me a little nervous.
Well, here's where I'm at on it. It is, we're going to go through and we're going to look at things that we're going to be taken out of there, right?
Correct.
I don't know which items those are and what those dollars amount to. And I'm assuming that a number of those items are also in the concrete bids, correct?
Yes, they're both the same, yes.
So as I sit here, I can't tell you which is the right way to go because I don't know what things Todd or the dollar values are worth. I don't know where that's going to bring. And that, we're not just rejecting it because we think they're too high. We're rejecting it because there's going to be elements of that are going to significantly change, apparently.
Right.
And that's where I'm with you, Donna. I agree with that. We've done that before, and it hasn't felt right. In this case, I want to know those numbers because, to me, it's the bottom line. And
I'm okay with it. I just want a part of the discussion so we all do go through that thought process. Anytime we reject a bid, I want us to go through that thought process.
All right. So is there a motion to reject the bids and authorization to rebid?
Second.
Moved by Danforth, second by Lallam. Any further discussion? See none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item number 14, consideration of bids received for a 2018 fire truck rescue pumper. Don.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to also thank the members to the council for looking at this as well. Just a brief information about the fire truck. We have put a spec committee together for the number of last 10 years or so, and I've been a part of the spec team committee, and essentially we looked at the truck that we're currently bidding, that we have award, or that we're wishing to award tonight, obviously, over the last 3-4 years where we've been planning for this. We have an advisory committee that's been looking at this as well, and essentially, historically speaking, when Station 2 opened, we went ahead and identified this truck as being something very similar in nature as what we're going to be having out at Station 2 as well. So with that, I just want to kind of go through the bids here. We had 2 bidders. We had one from Spartan ER, which is in Brandon, South Dakota. They had a bid of $623,500. The second bid was from Rosenbauer, which is in, I believe, Lyons, South Dakota. They had a price of $687,709. Basically, the chassis are also custom trucks as well. We did visit with 3 other vendors out there. E1, I believe the other one was Pierce and Toyne, and they obviously declined to bid this truck. So I guess with that, our recommendation is to go with obviously the low bid, which is Spartan ER, of $623,500. We do have a budget of $650,000 for this project in 2018. And essentially, we probably are not going to see this truck for at least a year, 365 days, after we sign the purchase agreement with those folks. I guess with that, I'd take any questions.
Don, are we replacing a truck or just adding to the fleet?
Sure. We currently have 3 engines right now. We have engine 1, engine 2, engine 3. Engine 2 is the truck that we're looking at replacing. Now with that, that's a good question, Josh. We've looked at do we keep it or don't keep it? We were told from the vendors is they would not do a trade-in on this truck. And the cost, or I should say the value of that truck probably will be $5,000 or less. So our thoughts are from an ISO, we're going through an ISO audit currently right now. We would get a 0.5 for a recommendation to keep that truck if we were to use it as a reserve pumper. We could also use it for backup for when we do have a truck or one of our apparatuses in maintenance. And we also could use it for training purposes at the training grounds. So there could be some value of keeping it, but due to the fact that if there would be any operating expenses with that, we probably would have to then get rid of it. So,
Don, do we have any space for that thing to be parked if we do decide to keep it?
we have a little bit of space possibly in that north shed at Station 1. Yes. We'd have to move some things around, Adam. Yes.
Okay, is there...
And just quickly, Mayor, this is what Engine 3 currently looks like. The capabilities of this truck, it's a structure for commercials and residential fires. It has the capability on the front, a little bit of the picture is missing for the bumper, but that's where the jaws of life is at, rescue. Of course, Dan, right?
You called that in, right, Don?
I called dispatch, of course, right, Scott? On the front of this is where the jaws of life is at. Their execution equipment. It's used for, obviously, car accident, hazmat, spills, breaches, or leaks. This is a very universal truck. We really put a lot of work in design into this truck. Obviously, it's a lot of money. I think most of you guys could see that as far as the price tag of this. But this truck would be housed at Station 2. The new truck, Engine 4, would be housed at Station 1. So we feel pretty confident this has been a good, great project for the department.
How old is the truck that you'd be replacing?
That is a 1989. So it's a couple years old. It's got some age.
No, something like that. Is there like a value like for Henry or Clark or somebody to get something like that?
There's a possibility. We did give the last truck to, I believe, Henry. Is that accurate, Chief? Henry got the last truck. Was it 1979? Yeah. Yes. And I know that South Shore just bought a brand new truck a year and a half ago, and Florence got one as well. So I don't know if maybe Wallace could use something like that. So that would be consideration that we take on that, Brad. Yeah.
Is there a motion to award to the low bidder, Spartan ER?
So moved.
Moved by Wise, second by Manti. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries.
Thank you very much for all your help on this.
Thank you. Item number 15, consideration of bids received for the field house lower roof. Looks like Terry Kelly is here to tell us about it.
Thanks, Mayor, Council. Pretty cut and dry on this one. This is for the field house, the old National Guard Armory. We opened bids on the 26th of October. Those were reviewed by the Park and Rec Board on October 31st. And the Park and Rec Board did do a motion for recommendation to the council to approve the low bid of Protec Roofing in the amount of $68,270, which is within budget, which is $83,000. So pretty cut and dry, respectable local business within budget. And this morning we did replace 13 ceiling tiles from the snow on the roof with a little bit of melt. So a much needed project, but yes. Yeah, it's within budget, local contractor, reputable. So with a recommendation from the Park and Rec Board for approval.
TK.
When will this work be done, Terry?
Substantial is May 30th.
Okay, so it's next spring.
Yeah.
So is this the 17 or 18 budget?
This is 17 budget, which will probably have to carry over to 18. When working with Adam Stem-Whittle, he said, you know, if we get that week, that it looks good, but obviously we're probably looking at a spring project.
Are we looking at having to replace anything inside because of?
We didn't do. We actually put in the base bid replacement of insulation. Originally, we had unit pricing in case it was wet, but we went ahead and did base bid that includes all new insulation. So they'll take it down to the metal. I mean, completely raw, redo insulation. So there should be no surprises, no change orders within this project.
What kind of time frame for that roof to last? 10 years, 15, 20?
It's got a 20-year manufacturer warranty on material and a 15-year labor warranty. Example, same type of roof we did at the City Auditorium in 1983, and we're just seeing that turnover now that needs replacement. So I would say 30 to 40 year time cycle on this type of roof. Okay.
Is there a motion? Motion by Roby, second by Danforth. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 16, authorization for the mayor to sign an agreement with Confluence for a downtown streetscape study for the Urban Renewal District. And I would like to add that this money to pay for this is proposed to come from the H2020 budget. And it will use up the remaining money that they have in there, which is $5,500.
I think it's about 5,900. So
59,
this
okay.
would, yep.
And this comes with a recommendation. It's supported by the H2020 group. So they've reviewed it and they want to support this. So this will be, if you look at the contract, they're giving us a really good deal. Confluence wants to make an appearance and make their presence known in Watertown, and they're doing this work really at a fraction of their actual costs that they would have.
Is there a recommendation? I see we have a Part A, Part B option here. Has there been a recommendation that we go with B? It's both, so that we do go with A and B.
Right.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So the total would be $5,500.
And from the urban renewal too.
I'll
From
second
the
Beth's
urban
motion.
I also wanted to mention too that this, not only did the H2020 committee support it, but this came actually from a recommendation from the Urban Renewal Board
Right.
to approve this.
Yes, thank you. So I had a motion, motion by Manti, second by Albertson, to accept both A and B. Any further discussion?
Actually get out, I mean, I'm not sure what's being shown up there right now, but what is the end product that we will get?
We will get a plan that shows specific projects with a priority order and an estimated cost and a proposed schedule for doing the work.
Basically, it's an action plan, Mike. Should do this in this order.
Okay,
So
and-
that we're looking, if we decide to put that urban renewal tax back into place,
Okay.
this is what you would use it for in this particular order.
It looked to me like we took what we had and took it to the next level or the next step, instead of just having all these things of like, okay, well, maybe we'll do this. This actually takes that and takes it one step further. I'm right on that.
Yes,
Okay,
you're
because
right.
I missed the meeting. So
You are right.
Okay, thanks.
Mayor, one question from staff. It appears that this does not include the portion of South Maple in the same width of Broadway. Are those business folks aware that they're not included in the scope of this, or was there discussion on that?
I don't remember that being a discussion. I mean, it's this is getting us started on a downtown rejuvenation plan, and it's 2 major streets.
No, I agree. I hope that there won't be any kickback because we didn't include those businesses along those streets as well. But
As this is looked at, what, and I think of Rob right away. So what guidelines are they given in their design and phasing of this as it relates to what the city departments would support?
They will work with the city to come up with something that is amenable to our staff in terms of maintenance. They're not going to recommend something that without their input. Yes.
And if there's changes then to this after it's originally planned, is that in these numbers? If they, whatever they
No.
present to us, if it, this council or staff, that eventually there's some changes needed to it, do these numbers include what
That
would be
on
changes,
us
or that be
if
on us?
If we reject or change what they've done for this. And they've shown what, based on the amount of time that they intend to put on this, that what we'd really be spending is quite a bit more, $23,000 for 5,500, and that they knew that we had a limited amount of money. This will get us started, and I think they're hoping for further work. If we like this plan, that we'll hire them to do more. They want to have a presence here. And they're giving us a gift to entice us for future. So I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item number 17, consideration of fireworks show permit application for fireworks display at Watertown Business Association located at 323 First Avenue Northeast on November 24th, 2017. Is there someone from the fire department want to talk about this? This is for the Thanksgiving parade downtown, and that address is not where the fireworks will be going off. Don, he'll tell us about this.
This is going to be planned at, I believe, 2nd Street, 3rd Street, Maple, and Kemp. That's where they do the beginning of the for about a 5-minute show, where they start the parade. They've been doing that now for, I believe, 5 years, and it's going to be loose fireworks that'll be doing that again.
Okay. Is there a motion and second for approval? Moved by Vilhauer, second by Solom. Any further discussion? See none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Thanks, Don.
And Dan, I think it is a fire, actually.
Item number 18, approval of final invoice from Bates Construction for the Watertown Regional Landfill Cell Number 6 project and authorization for the Finance Office to issue payment of $22,791.37. Shane?
Thank you, Mayor. This represents the final payment for the landfill cell 6 construction project. With full payment of the $22,791, it will bring the final contract amount to the contractor to $1,106,858.19. There's been a lot of work that was done on that project, and to stay this close to the budget has been amazing. So it's really turned out to be a good project. We got caught with weather and different things that took a lot longer to get done, but in the end, the work was done satisfactorily, and the price stayed on point. So we're good. With that, recommendation for authorization of issuance of the special check to Bates Construction Company in the amount of $22,791.37.
Is there a motion second? Motion by Mantee, second by Danforth. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item 19, consideration of change order number 1, final, for the 2017 Sidewalk Accessibility Improvements Project number 1704, increasing the contract amount by $3,020.50 for a final project amount of $202,822. Shane.
Thank you, Mayor. We did complete this project on time. It was kind of down to the wire, but it was done on time. And generally speaking, the work was very satisfactory. We did add a few extra items of work on there. We had a couple extra radiuses that we did related to the hospital project. They weren't going to do a radius that we felt needed to be done. Their work didn't include that, so we added that to our project. And then we also piggybacked on some work down by the auditorium where we had to do some storm sewer work. So we got that sidewalk work done under this project as well. So we actually did quite well in managing it to be within $3,000 of the original bid. So with that, staff recommends approval of change order number 1 final to the contract with Artistic Concrete LLC for the 2017 sidewalk accessibility improvements project number 1704, increasing the contract amount by $3,020.50. The final contract amount is $202,822.
Is there a motion and second? Moved by Danforth. Second by Thorson. Discussion?
With the work you were able to add on, grab it with other construction projects, would we actually down the road be recouping this $3,000, or is this just kind of because we added the extra? It sounds like we were able to work ahead of some things.
No, actually what we did is we made sure that didn't make sense to come back and do that work at a later time, so we just added it to the project because we were there and it needed to be done. So
it's a wash. Okay,
yep.
Thanks.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item 20, consideration of change order number 1 final for the 2017 asphalt concrete maintenance work project number 1714, decreasing the contract amount by $95,789.84 for a final project amount of $898,744.61. Shane?
Thank you, Mayor. One thing I want to point out is we had a engineer's estimate of $950,000 for this project. When we went to bids and awarded, we actually awarded a project of $994,534. So we were over budget at the beginning. And so what I don't want people to misunderstand is that we do have a change order reducing it by $95,789, but really we only have a net budget change of about $53,000. So I wanted the council and the public to recognize that we did our best to make sure that we did as much work as we could within our budget, and we actually our goal was to try to get close to that $950,000, but we actually were able to control our quantities on certain portions of the projects to get the product that we wanted without overspending on asphalt. In other words, we had some areas that were rutted and we had to make some leveling course adjustments, and we just adapted the project along so that we managed our money so that we didn't end up with $1,050,000 or something like that. So it was an ongoing operation to stay on budget. And with that, I'll recommend that the motion to approve change order number 1 final, the contract with Dunick Incorporated for the 2017 asphalt concrete maintenance work, project 1714, decreasing the contract amount $95,789.84 for a final contract amount of $898,744.61.
Is there a motion? Moved by Solom, second by Manti. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Item number 21, consideration of change order number 2, final for the Watertown Storm Shelter project number 1719, decreasing the contract amount by $1,014 for a final project amount of $219,163. Shane.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, this is a project that we struggled a little bit with budget. You know, the original bids came in over our estimated project budget, so we trimmed back some of the contingency monies in there previously, and then in the end we had managed to save another $1,014. So project went very well. We have full access to it. Should be ready to go for the next season's storms, and looks very good. One side note I'll say is that we're already talking to the Parks Department about adding some sidewalk around the building to make it even a little bit more aesthetically and functional as far as access. So we're looking forward to doing that project next summer. And with that, then recommend motion to approve change order number 2 final to the contract with Gray Construction for the Watertown's Storm Shelter Project 1719, decreasing the contract amount by $1,014 for a final contract of $219,163.
Is there a motion? Moved by Lallam, second by Danforth. Any discussion? See none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Thanks, Shane. Item number 22, consideration of change order number 4 for the Premier Softball Complex project, increasing the contract amount by $2,500. Jay.
Yes, this change order is for the city's share for the replacement fabric for some of the damaged sunshades at Premier Softball Complex. There's 10 of them. We will be getting 10 new sunshades. The old ones we will be keeping, and we'll also get some patch kits and try and repair those as best we can and see how that works. So we'll actually have a spare set of shades for the Premier Complex.
All right, is there a motion to approve the change order with Gray Construction Company? So moved. Second. Moved by Manti, second by Y. Any discussion?
Just a comment, this looks like a pretty good resolution to this situation as I see it, Jay, based on what we had discussed before. So I guess I want to commend you and your staff for working through this.
Well, good. I agree. I think, whose fault it was, what the fault was, nobody really knows, so I think this is a good solution.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 23, old business. Is there any old business?
Mayor, I have one item. In the working session earlier, we talked about the promotion for the Avalanche and the Nuggets games in Denver. Since that time, I did get an email. They have updated the site now, so there are now 14 events between now and the end of the year. Eight Avalanche games and 6 Nuggets games. And what's interesting is some of those are only a night or two apart. So you could fly out to Denver and catch 2 events on one short trip. So just want to publicize that. Thanks to Kroenke Sports and Entertainment for helping us out.
Great. Yeah. Thank you.
Mayor, I did ask Kristen between the two about the money that we might have in reserve here to work on the bike trail. So, Kristen, maybe you'd fill in what you told me.
Yep, I had a chance to look at the numbers, and we to begin 2017, the budget was $740,120. Currently, this year we've spent right around $114,000, so we're looking at about $626,000 left in the budget.
Any other old business? Any new business?
I'd just like to make a comment. It's worth noting that Friday is the next induction class to the Watertown Hall of Fame. Just like to recognize Donis Roberts and Joseph Messer, deceased for a number of years, but 2 individuals that left quite an impact upon Watertown, and commend them.
Yes. I have an item I'd like to mention that I intend to write a letter of support for to accompany LATI's application for a new program for the aviation, which includes the helicopter and fixed wing flight training. And I'm writing the letter of support just because I think it's a good project. This doesn't mean it's going to happen. They're making an application for it, and they need our support. they can't even move forward without it because it's our airport. And I know there will be further public discussions. This doesn't mean that we won't have those discussions. We will, and we'll take input and look at any negatives that are coming up about this project. Right now I'm seeing a lot of positive things. There's a demand for the graduates of a program, and we have a program at LATI that could be expanded to include this. We have an airport that we've invested a lot of money in over time, has the capacity to do this and to expand to accommodate this, and the impact on our community could be pretty wonderful, actually, with the additional students, the additional teachers, the niche market in our workforce that doesn't suck skilled workers away from any other program. It'll make us unique to have this program, and so I think it's a very positive element that we could support, and so I am going to write a letter of support. Doesn't mean it's a done deal.
Mayor, I'd like to say too that I want to thank Mike Cartney, I think, because I had a person that asked me several questions about this, and of course I didn't know the answers, so I sent it over to Mike Cartney, and he very quickly responded with answers that I thought made sense and probably made sense to the person who asked the questions. So I'd just like to thank him publicly for responding on that, because it was, and responding to the point where it made good sense also. So
right, it does. And LATI is such an asset to our community, and if we can partner with them and assist them in any way that helps them thrive, that helps us as well. So any other new business? Are there any liaison member reports? Okay, we will have an executive session this evening in order to discuss contract matter. And so I'd like a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
No there was no action expected to be taken when we come out. Thank you. A motion? Motion by Lalonde. Second by Thorson. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. We are in executive session.